Hi traders, and welcome back to IFX, and today we're going to talk about on the final level 1 trend. We're going to talk about the mid-level which we're going to use with the trend blocks or reversal blocks. So how can we use the mid-level to better our entries? This is more for scalping entries, M5 and M15. So we're going to take a look at that, some examples, and also how we can actually use them up with some higher time frame moving averages or blocks or MACDs. The mid-level really goes mainly, or the one that I like it more, mainly will be go with the higher time frame blocks. So if you're entering on M5 blocks, then you will use the higher time frame block of 1 hour, and then we will also use the mid-level. But we're going to be able to see from based on moving averages and MACD what are some of the differences in there. So let's take a look at the chart right now. I didn't do really examples on this, much examples, because this is really easy. This is something that that I have taught a lot on all the videos on YouTube and on the course. So it's not that hard. So the main idea in here, or the indicator that we use to measure the mid-level, is going to be this magenta indicator right here. So what is this doing is this is measuring the mid-level or the halfway of that daily candle. So of course we will go based on the prior day, because prior day is already a closed candle, is already fixed and is not going to move, right? Is already a fixed level that we can pretty much go and check it out and see what is the trend of the market. So this indicator is really helping us see what is the market trend on either short moves and small and big moves pretty much. So let's just take a simple example right over here. So we have this day over here, which is October 4th, right? And what we're going to do is, if we're on top of it, on top of this level, we're not going to do anything. If we would like to buy, we will either would like to buy above this level, or we would like to sell below this level. So if this is the prior day mid-level, so then I use this as a reference, right? This is my reference. So if I get a bullish or a bearish block, then I will use this mid-level as a reference as to what is the market trend. So if I see it that is going up like an escalator pretty much, then I know that we have an uptrend, and eventually what does the market do? Has to come back down again. And sometimes we get it nicely like a nice pyramid, but sometimes it doesn't really work like that. So right over here we got a block. This is looking at 5-minute euro dollar. So right over here we got a trend block, because our reversal block was way at the top right over here. I know this is very minimal, very small, but it's better to show you what I mean. So right over here, this was the block entry. So then I would just say, okay, we are below the prior dip mid-level, which is pretty much is letting me know that the candle, the current day candle, is already going lower than the prior day candle, at least halfway from that candle. So that gives me already like some anticipation that the market is going to go lower. If in this case, we're selling. So the market did go lower. And in here it kind of came about this other level, this not the prior day, but the 2 days before, it came about to that level. And I use these levels as support and resistance, and use them as take profit and stop loss. So they're really good actually. You really shouldn't put them aside. You should really have them on your chart and really to help you out what is going on. So now let's say we enter into a sell. My take profit would have been somewhere around here. I get out, and then you kind of get it back again. We use them as a nice resistance. So the price came back up again to get close to this prior day mid-level, and then come back down again and keep going lower and lower. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to tell you here. So we use this prior day mid-level as support and resistance, as a trend, like really is a multi indicator that we can use it as many things. Okay, so now market is going down. We get a bullish candle. a bullish block, whether it's a reversal block or a trend block. And then what do we do? Do we buy or do we sell? Well, the further or the bigger the move or the difference from this level to this current level, that means the stronger the trend or the stronger the move, that you can have a nice pullback. And the pullback usually happens to the current day mid-level. But this is another strategy that I might go later on, because this is more manually, more than anything else. You can't really use the EA for this. You have to use it manually. You can use the EA to enter, but you exit, you will have to manage it yourself. So then now let's just say in here we got a what? We've got a bullish block, and we're like, okay, I'm not going to enter it as of yet because I am not above, or I'm very far away from the current mid-level or the prior day mid-level, so you just leave it alone. So you carry on to the next day, and the next day, as you can tell, has been kind of rangy. So if you were going to buy, you has to be anything above this mid-level, but then you will also have to take into account that this level was huge, was a big step. And so you won't really want to do anything with that. You will have to wait just to kind of see what better opportunity you get. So right over here, I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger so you could see. So right over here, if I was going to buy, I could buy in here, and then my take profit would have been somewhere around here. Now I got a reversal block or a trend block to sell below my prior day mid-level. So if I would enter, I would be able to catch up some pips. So again, this is more like scalping, and sometimes you can run for a longer trend. It all depends on market conditions. Like this was great. This was a nice long move, while this one was a really short move, right? So it's just like I said, sometimes it can be confusing because you can have many levels within that don't really move much, right? They're just within this. But if you take into account this big level right here, which is this one has been the strong move, this is acting as a resistance. You can tell that we haven't stepped up pretty much, but this one is like pushing the market down. We can tell that we're still in a downtrend after this long move, right? So the market has been ranging, but still more or less like in a downtrend range, right? That is something to take into account. This is more done manually. You have to visually see it and kind of analyze the market. The EA is not going to do that for you. So the best entry first, just to kind of see in here, in here we had a sell entry, but of course, if we were going below the moving, the mid-level was not really going to work. So pretty much all in here, we would have not done anything. Where would have actually we gotten the best entry again, which was right here, this bearish block right over here, right? We had a bullish block, but take a look in here. This bullish block, we were too far from the prior day mid-level. Again, this is the prior day mid-level. If I draw an arrow in here, if I was going to buy in here, my take profit had to be at the prior day mid-level. And if I was looking for a sell, well, this was a perfect resistance. And I got what? I got my blocks, and then finally the market was able to come back down again. So I know this is, don't let it confuse you. It's quite simple. It's just that, yes, sometimes it can be like, where am I? Where are the levels? How is this working? But again, this worked as a nice resistance right over here. I can just draw a line, and I would just wait until the market reaches to this level, and I will be able to sell again. If I was going to buy, this should have been my take profit, because again, we are on a step down that, you could tell that the market would be going lower and lower. And then again, if we were going to look at this big level right here, this is acting as a resistance. But if I draw a line in here, look at this other big level right here. If I draw a line, the market did go up, but then who did it meet? It met this level, okay? And then from there, it acted as a nice resistance, and the market had a nice drop after that. So take into account the mid levels. They're very, very, very important. So that's what we're looking for. It works mainly for M15 and M5 entries. It works great on those type of entries right over here. You know, if let's say for example right here the market has been above that mid-level, then the next day comes about. If we are below now, if we get an entry below this level right here, we will look for selling opportunities and so on and so forth. So let me just get a little bit where I have some blocks right here. So right over here on M5, we were able to get a what? A nice block right below the prior day mid-level, which is right over here. And then we would just enter on that. So we would try to get a selling block as close as we can to that mid-level and be able to grab as many pips as we can. If we were going to buy against that level, you know, we just have to see, okay, we're on a step down. If I'm going to buy, you know, it's very critical. You could use that. Again, this is another strategy. This is called the mean reversion strategy, which where you buy in here and then your exit has to be either your current mid-level if it reaches there, but you know, this trade kind of went to the next day, then my take profit would be right over here, right? And what is it going right now? Take a look in here. We have a block that happened above this mid-level. Possibly it can go up and maybe it can reach up to here, right, to this prior mid-level right over here, which it hit it already once. Maybe it can hit it twice and then eventually might go higher, but you know, that's something that goes along the way. So we would get entries all in here. So what do I do? What do I do in here that I can enter? So based on, let's say on 1 hour, I like to use the 1 hour block to guide me and to help me so I can see on the next day what am I looking for. So let's say for example in here, if I got a block in here, then I would know that, hey, if we're below the mid-level, then I will be looking for selling opportunities on M5 or M15 and so on and so forth. I already done a video about this. So in here we got a bullish block, and then right over here, if you see, we're inside the prior day mid-level. This is another day. We're inside this level, so we have a bullish block. We are inside this level, so all we do is look for a buying opportunity. And then what did it do? Market again just came by to this level to hit it and then bounce off from there. So that's pretty much what we're looking for, okay? So I ran some examples, that some different strategies that I run with the M5 and M15 just to kind of show you an example of how we can actually use this. So in here we use 0.10, which is a little bit more compared to the previous example. We use euro dollar. Entry time frame was 5 minutes. We use the reversal block. Now in here I'm using the 100 settings, and then I'm using I use 4 days, the higher time frame block, filter number 1 higher time frame, right, 1 hour trend block with 80 settings, and I put 4 days, but preferably I would like it as a max of 2 to 3 days. The mid-level, of course, this is going to be true because this is what we're going to be using, right? We're going to be using mid-level. So what we're saying is that we want an entry. If the block happens below this level, then we look for selling opportunities. If the block happens above this level, then we're looking for buying opportunities. And then also we're saying that if we have a 1 hour block of a minimum of 4 days old, then give me an entry. That's pretty much what we're saying. So everything else is false. You know, all we're doing is this to be true. And I gave it a space between trades, 35% of ADR, take profit 15%. Why? Because this is more scalping, right? This is 5 minutes and this is scalping. So, you know, I can't pretend or let this run for a long time because I'm not sure if this is going to run for a long time. So in here, what did it do is that I had a drawdown of 10%, gave me a number of 116 trades, which is a lot. Profit factor 1.87, and the profit in here was $456, right? And I ran it from January 1st to October 10th. Okay, that's not bad. I believe if I reduce this to 2 days, I really didn't try to do it. It might give me a better entry, it might give me better maybe a better spacing, you know, not too many entries, but this is something that you can try it on your own. But I think in here we are something going onto the right track. Now I did another example. Now I reduced the block settings in here. I didn't do the higher time frame block, so filter number 1 was nothing. What I did is I added a filter moving average, right, for the 5-minute 13 simple moving average, and then I filter number 5, I added the MACD. I was intrigued to what the MACD would give us. We talked about this on the previous example, in the previous video. So this is look fine following the 4-hour time frame MACD, and surprisingly, you know, with all these settings being the same, it gave us a drawdown of 9%, a little bit less than the prior example. 121 trades, profit factor was much better, and profit itself was much better. So the drawdown was way less. We got more entries and we got more profit into this. So this is not bad at all. I like this. This example was really good. I still want to give him one more chance trying out the 1-hour time frame just to kind of see what we get, which I actually did do it. I'm not sure how long I ran it for, but that is something that I will have to see. Okay, so I did run it. This is a little bit different. I ran it for small, just from May to October, only 5 months, with the 5-minute entries again, with following 1-hour time frame block, 1-hour block, but only 2 days old. And now, well, of course, you know, this is different type of money, but the drawdown was not as much, and we got like 49 trades. You know, we got total net profit of 4,000, so gross profit was 8,000. So it did have some losing trades, but this is overall was good. Of course, I only ran it quick before the video for only 5 months, which is completely, you know, off of what the examples that we're going off. So you could definitely try this on your own. You know, again, we're gonna go more in detail later on how we can run in the tester, how we can do our own testing. But pretty much this is the results that I got based on that, based on using just instead of 4, using 2 days pretty much. So I did get better results, but again, this is only just half of this, half months of this, so it's not really true right now to what we're talking about. All right, so now what about entering on M15? On M15, I was running it with the reversal block, but I was not getting the best results because on M15 it happens less often than 5 minutes. So this is really a strategy that works best on 5-minute time frame. Okay, so for those of you who are scalpers, or those of you who love to enter on 5 minute, this will be the strategy for you. On 15 minutes it works way less because it happens way less. So in here I ran it on the reversal block retest entries. On 80, I used the 4-hour block, filter number 1, higher time frame block, trend block with 80 settings and 20 days minimum. Of course, the mid-level is true. And then I added filter number 4, the moving average, 15 minutes, simple, 13 simple moving average. Everything else stays the same. And as you're able to tell, we had a big difference. So the drawdown was way less. So this is ultra conservative. We only had 17 trades compared to 100 trades, you know, 100 or more trades. So this is way less. Profit factor, it gave me 0 because it didn't have any losing trades in here. So it can't calculate the profit factor. Okay, so that's why it was 0. And then the profit was only $273. Okay. And then in here, I ran it the same way as strategy number 2, just again, retest M15. So in here, instead of using the higher time frame block, I used the 4-hour higher time frame MACD. Okay, so everything else stayed the same, and we pretty much had the same type of entries. The only difference was one entry less, which it affected the profit, but it's pretty much the same thing. So that concluded that the 4-hour trend block and the MACD more or less work almost the same way, right? Very close. And this only retest entry. So this is something that, you know, again, it has to be tested further. You know, I trade this a lot manually, but it has given a lot of good results. You know, it all depends on how much you want to be able to run this trade, right? But you can see now some of the differences. You're going to be able to see now that you can be able to run it and be able to see, hey, do I want a lot of entries on M5, or do I really want to just, you know, slow down? How many entries do I get? Then you will have to move on to M15. On M15, definitely you're going to get less entries. And like I said, in here, I run a retest because I haven't done really retest entries. And I know a lot of people like to do retest, enter on retest only. So that's pretty much the example. So retest entries is just, you know, using the arrows, right? Instead of using the block, we're entering with the arrows instead, you know, like I said, second entry, kind of that retest of this block, just to make sure that that block could be a good block or not, right? So, you know, for one example, this is not a retest of this, like right here. This is M15, and so right here we got a block, right? We got a mid, this is the prior day mid-level. We got the block right here, or, you know, whichever block retest. So I used the trend block retest. So this would have been the entry right over here, this arrow, this retest arrow right here. So the entry would have been right here, and this would have been the entry, okay? So, you know, that's pretty much it. You don't want to enter on the first entry block in here. You just want to wait for a retest, and this would have been the entry for you right now. And then that's it, traders. Do you have any questions? Please let me know. Like the video, write comments, you know, let me know on Telegram what you think, if this is a strategy that you would like to follow. I did follow this strategy a lot on an FTMO demo that I was doing, and then I did a lot of winning trades. So it's a good strategy, you know, we're following the trend, but, you know, sometimes we get entries that are not so great, that don't run for a long time. So that's something that we have to be very careful. All right, traders, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next following video.